Johnny, look in that. Am I in that camera too?
Yeah, buddy.
Alright. Alright guys, I am back with another segment through the eyes of the unknown. Today I'm sitting here with Mr. Jeff Hulslander. Jeff is a fucking slayer behind the drums. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your project right now, or projects, because I know you're involved in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I have a couple things going on. Right now, I'm in a band that's getting ready to break out really soon in about 2 months called Pulp Fiction. We do a lot of hard new rock, a lot of the newer, harder radio rock that's come out in the last few years. We also do a mix of some older party rock favorites from throughout the 2000s, maybe even some late 90s stuff. A nice variety of music. I also have a current band called Void that also does very similar, newer, hard, heavy edge rock music. All covers at the moment, and it's also a brand new band. We've only done one show. We have another one coming up very soon. And in the meantime, I've just been filling in with a few other bands around town, and wherever anybody needs me, if I can keep busy and I have some time, I'm there having fun with it.
It's all about keeping busy. So, now, Jeff and I were just recently in, not really a competition, but we both auditioned for the same band, and this man won, was Tim and Jake. Now explain to us a little bit about Tim and Jake.
Tim and Jake's a new country rock project. Let me first say, I don't think either of us won or lost. It's all a mutual support, you know, regardless. But they're a new up-and-coming country rock group that has had a couple of really good breaks already, that's gotten their name out, gotten their music out to the people. They've been doing really good. They're hardworking guys, and they've been pounding the pavement and writing more and more music, and they're all about pushing themselves. And I saw a lot of good things I liked in those guys when I saw what they were about. So when they were searching for a drummer, percussionist, I decided it would definitely be well worth my time. So long story short, I spent the last few months traveling around, playing some shows with them, having a great time.
Nice.
And they get quite a warm welcome everywhere they go.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of folks like them. They're definitely like not the typical country. There's like some blues and some rock elements in there as well.
Definitely southern rock element.
Yeah, totally. And I know Jake's guitar playing. I actually jam with Jake in one of my old bands, and the kid's got skills.
Yes.
So,
very much.
Tell me a little bit about the equipment that you use, like drum set, cymbal wise.
Right now, I'm using just a basic 5-piece Pearl Vision. I honestly, growing up, was never a big fan of the Pearl drums. My brother and some close friends all played Pearl drums.
Yep.
I just can't really tell you why. I just never was a big fan, but I always used basically what I could growing up. But once I had the choice to get what I wanted, I spent the majority of my years, the last 20 years, probably playing Tama drums the majority of the time. I had a couple of different lines, the old school Rockstar lineup and Tama Superstar is what I had for the longest time, and I can't say a bad word about those. I got lucky and came into a good deal on a Pearl drum set 2 years ago. It happened to be made of birch shells, the Vision line, and I had never played on birch shells myself, and I fell in love.
Nice.
I love the attack, the tone, the punch that I get out of those shells.
Yeah, and I noticed, because I've played with kit before, your heads are tuned a little bit tighter than what I usually do. Is it just because you like the...
I like to try to go for a wider spectrum from high to low. I still like my low tone to be as low and deep and punchy as most drummers prefer for rock and metal music especially. But I like the spectrum of the tones to go up a little bit higher range, so I could get a little bit more creative with some,
Yeah, I know when I go to tune my drums, I make sure they have that, I do that 3 do effect, you know, make sure one kind of gradually gets lower. But now when you were growing up, who was a big influence to you, and what kind of music were you listening to? Because I know you're, no offense, but you're a little older than a lot of the guys that you're jamming with, but...
Yeah, honestly, I started extremely young. I was 6 years old when I first sat behind a drum set and actually started to play my first basic beat. And I would say, in the most part, I have an older brother, Jamie, that that I watched take lessons in my bedroom when I was 6 years old. Every time he'd get done with a lesson, when he'd leave, I'd sneak in behind him. That's how I started. I just took it from there. As I grew up through elementary and junior high and started realizing all the different genres of music that were out there, I had all your typical drummer influences from Neil Peart, John Bonham from Zeppelin, but currently if I had to say number one, number two type guy on my list, I would have to go to Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, and amongst many other projects. I studied many years his techniques, his little tricks, and a lot of the things that he also teaches. And him and even the current drummer of Dream Theater, Mike Mangieri, phenomenal talent. I spent a lot of time actually studying them, learning every little thing I could take away from it.
Yeah, totally. Now, I know you and I had touched on Chris Adler.
Oh yeah.
You can't leave out Chris Adler.
Thank you. Yeah, I shouldn't have left him out. Definitely top three. Definitely. As far as metal drummers, Chris Adler is probably number one if I had to categorize straight metal drummers. Although he's capable of much more. So.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean, look at he went back, or he did some stuff with Megadeth.
Yes.
So that was kind of a dream to him. So now let me shut this air conditioner on here. Sorry, I'm doing this shit down in my basement, so, you know, I gotta keep the dampness out. But anyway, obviously you're wearing a Motorhead shirt, so that was a huge influence.
Yes.
What other bands besides them were huge to you?
Honestly, growing up, I listened to a little bit of everything, which is another reason I had a lot of fun playing everything from the hard rock and the metal that I used to play to the country that I'm currently been playing at Timmy Jig also. But everything, Motorhead, the classics, your typical classic rock from Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton and the Doors and Led Zeppelin and all those, right on through to the 80s hair bands, actually had quite an influence on me because that was some of the first hard rock that I heard. But around the same time the hair bands started coming out, I had some friends in junior high turn me on to some real dark, really fast stuff, like along the lines of, I think, Morbid Angel, Metal Church, and early Cannibal Corpse was some of the most extreme early metal that I got into at a really young age.
Yeah. The very first metal album that I actually ever picked up, since you said Metal Church, was a Metal Church record. I can't tell you the name of it, but what got me was it said Metal Church on it, and it had a picture of a door on a white building, and it was dark inside. And
it's called The Dark.
Is it called The Dark? Yeah. So, all right, but
we have that.
yeah. So eventually, I'm kind of actually hoping to have the drummer of Metal Church down here to do an interview, but that's all up to Jeff. Jeff is a busy man, just like yourself. You're very busy. This man is in almost every musical project here in this town. So but let's see here. You said you started playing at 6 years old, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, did you ever take any lessons in school or anything?
I did. I initially, just like I said, I caught a couple of starter lessons from watching my brother play and a couple of other people. And then as soon as I got into school, I started learning how to read the tablature and sheet music, how to chart out drum work, and how to really tear it apart down to every bare bones, like each single drum by itself before putting the whole drum set together, and then learning different drum set techniques. I got your typical school instruction from the teacher. I never searched for any outside lessons outside of that, because I liked taking what that gave me and trying to just elaborate it myself, you know, and I had that to go back to all through high school, and everything was, if I had questions or I got stuck somewhere trying something, I did have somebody to go back to, the school instructor, to help me get through it.
Cool.
Give me a pointer as to where to go.
Now, aside, kind of goes with taking lessons, how do you practice now? Do you put on the headphones and just jam? Do you have sheet music you go over?
I wish I could say what every hardworking musician does say, that I put in all the hours and I'm faithful to this a certain amount of homework time every day or every week or every month. But honestly, it's been a long time since I've gotten to discipline myself and be able to do any drummer work at home. When I'm rehearsing with the multiple projects that I've been playing with, it's about the only time I get to tinker and take maybe a minute or two to myself. And then I'm rehearsing the band material for that band, whatever I'm rehearsing with at the moment. So I really haven't had much time. I'm trying to use my own little ins and outs at rehearsals without taking up as much of anybody else's time. Or, you know, at the gigs I might get a little experimental here and there, but I try not to go out of the realm of what's been rehearsed and what's comfortable and what we know works, you know. But I really just playing as steady and often as I do is the only thing that's kept my chops up for me, I believe.
Yeah.
I think I still have a lot of room for a lot of improvement in a lot of ways, but I haven't had the time.
Well,
to be able to
I think that goes with all of us though, because if you think about it, we're never going to learn everything. You know, I've always said I consider myself a student forever because there's always going to be something new that comes out that I'm going to want to learn or whatever. Now, what kind of music are you currently listening to today?
Again, a little bit of everything. I'll spend an hour or two listening to some of the new country, some of the old country. I love right up to the most extreme death metal you can imagine. I like some of the newer progressive metal bands that are out there. I've always been a huge the Sugar fan too, as far as old school progressive. Everything really, there isn't too much I don't like. I even like a little bit of rap and hip hop. I'm pretty choosy with what ones I do like.
I think we all are.
You know, as a drummer, I find a lot of fun in anything that I feel is put together fairly well.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
Style doesn't really mean too much to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got our favorites and our dislikes, but I found that the hip hop and the rap stuff can actually be quite fun for a drummer because you can put your own shit with that. You know, you can kind of make it your own.
For sure.
So, now, when you go to perform, do you ever get nervous, or have you ever gotten nervous?
Oh yes, a lot more back in the day than now. But yeah, there's still times, and again, no rhyme or reason that I even understand as to why. Sometimes it could just be that one person, that one place, that one situation might have nothing to do with your music or what you're about to do. And I still have moments for sure. There's been a couple of times where I've been blessed with the opportunity to play for a big national or in front of a really huge crowd, at least to me, with a huge crowd. And those moments, every one of them, it still doesn't go right. I've learned how to work through it, I believe, you know, and be as professional and productive as I can. But yeah, some people have had a role in that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Like I've said before in past interviews, it kind of, if there's no crowd there, I have time to get nervous. But if there's a lot of people there screaming, hooting, and hollering, it's adrenaline that takes over, and it's a circle. You know, you give the energy, and I give it right back. Now, a lot of you guys don't know, Jeff was in a band called King Snyder, and King Snyder did some touring, correct? Why don't you tell us a little bit how King Snyder formed and what you guys did, because I know you guys opened up for some bigger acts. Tell us a little bit about that.
We had a great run. It was the majority of my music playing career was spent in King Snyder. We had a 12-and-a-half-year run from start to back, and it started when the band itself actually came together in late 01, early 02, 2002. There was bands right before King Snyder that the members had been a part of that had done really great things. The band Shovel Barn had a couple of our founding members in that band as well. I played with them before I had moved out of state for a while, and we basically rejoined the three of us, me, Brad Baker, and Seth Kelly, were the original founding members, I guess you'd say, of that group. And we went on to audition and find some great friends in our bass player and second guitar players that originally joined. Jimmy Phelps, Chris Kaus were the original two. Later on down the road, for the last 2-3 years of the band's existence, we had Derek Cotis and Josh a phenomenal bass player. Josh, the bass player from One Step from Falling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I miss those guys too. I miss all of them. But yeah, we came out with a bang in '02. We had some good backing, good management, people working for us and with us and helping us along the way. And we went out and did our thing and got a really surprising, huge response and reaction from the public right away. And it kind of shot us into a lot of golden opportunities, a lot of bigger shows, a lot of travel, a lot of venues, bands, and crowds that we probably wouldn't have normally gotten a chance to be anywhere near. And we had a great run. We had a real tight-knit group of friends and family, and we had a chance to go on the road. And we did the real weekend warrior thing really hard for a lot of years, and we did some extensive travel a couple times. Along the way, we got to open up for many legendary old school hard and heavy bands, as well as some newer ones. Off the top of my head, Clutch, El Nino, Overkill, Prong. We did a lot of traveling with bands that didn't quite get the recognition they deserve, like Dogfish and Disco. We did a lot of traveling and touring with them as well. The biggest show that I had personally ever gotten to play was in front of 5,000 plus people. We had the honor of opening for Breaking Benjamin.
Nice.
And that was a great memory to have. It was a great time.
Oh yeah.
We did a lot of great things, but after 12 and a half years, I guess it had just run its course. Everyone says, what was the reason, what was the reason? You know, and things run their course. You know when something's
Yeah. Unfortunately, things do take their fall. I mean, there was other bands out there kind of like you guys, like Agony Hill. They did some covers, but they did some awesome originals as well.
Yep.
You know, and it takes a lot of work. Like I said before, I think a lot of people forget what it's like to be an unknown musician and the time it takes, the money it takes, you know, and there's a lot of shit. You can't just practice your instrument and go out and be famous. There's just a lot of shit with it. So, Jeff, I got one more question for you, and I usually ask every musician that comes down here. What are your words of encouragement for the musicians that are out there today?
Be ready for a whole lot of heartbreak, disappointment, and depression, and be ready to kick it right in the ass and get right past it, because if you don't even get started. There's a lot of potential heartbreak out there, even in your best moments. There's a lot of down negative things that could pull you right down, and I've watched it pull a lot of amazing players that had amazing futures right down because they thought going into it was going to be all rainbows and candy, so to speak, you know.
And it's pretty much exactly the
opposite. It's the hardest life. I mean, especially if you want to go the route I went with the original scene all those years with King Snyder. You got to be ready to live broke and live dirty and sacrifice anything positive or good that you might have thought you wanted out of it, other than that short time on stage in front of those people every night. And that's the main reason we did it. You know, we just wanted to show our art and our music to people and get that feedback, like you said, whether it was one person in front of the crowd, 100 people, or 1,000 people. That was the reason we did it. And even on the nights where you don't get those people, even on the nights you don't get any money, you don't get your food, you're not in good conditions to do what you do best. If you're not ready for it, it's just going to bite you in the ass. But you always keep going, always keep going. But try your best to be ready going into it.
Yeah, totally. So, all right, brother. Thank you for stopping. They just jammed down here. His cover band Void. Johnny Pizzalia, whom I did last time a couple weeks ago, was sitting back there laughing his ass off silently.
Yeah, buddy.
So, but thanks for tuning in, guys. Like it, subscribe, and there'll be a lot more fun shit to come. Be good to each other.